What's up everyone, Marco here from PhoneDog.com, and in the midst of all of this MacBook Pro stuff, we're talking about the new 13-inch and 15-inch MacBook Pro that Apple quietly released about 2 weeks ago. I really wanted to make a video about something that could be an alternative to the 13-inch MacBook Pro, which is this thing right here. This is the, not very new, but the Microsoft Surface Book 2. This one's the 13.5-inch Surface Book 2. And I think it's a very good alternative if you spec it out correctly and kind of match that brand new third generation MacBook Pro that Apple just released. We're talking about the 13-inch MacBook Pro with a touch bar that currently now has the i7 quad-core processor. That starts at $17.99. It's really expensive, and it still lacks one of the most critical components that makes a pro computer pro, which is discrete graphics, which if you want to have that in a MacBook Pro today, you still have to buy the 15-inch Pro, while you can get a discrete graphics card in the 13.5-inch Surface Book 2. So obviously they're not going to be apples for apples. I still think the MacBook Pro is superior in terms of build quality. I still think the software experience on the Mac side is just a little bit more simple and easy to use than Windows 10, but Microsoft has been really killing it with the Surface Book 2. It's definitely not a powerhouse computer. I mean, it's really powerful, but I mean, you're not going to be buying any of these machines for gaming or really hardcore editing because honestly, let's face it, you're going to need a lot more cores and a lot more graphical performance than what any of these thin chassis can give you. So the Surface Book 2 comes in a couple different flavors. You can buy a Surface Book 2 and a 13.5-inch flavor without discrete graphics, so that kind of gets at the $1,200 to $1,500 realm. But if you step it up to $2,000, you step into a Surface Book 2 at 13.5 inches, an 8650U processor, the i7 quad-core processor. It's not clocked very high. It's about 1.9 of turbo boosting up to like 2.2 or 2.3, something around there. But you do get a NVIDIA GTX 1050. Now it's a 1050 card. You're only getting 2 gigabytes of discrete graphics, but you do get that in a thin and lightweight 13-inch package, which is just absolutely absent in the 13-inch MacBook Pro line. So I've been using the Surface Book 2 as my main machine for the past couple of weeks, and so far I've really liked it. I still want to spend some more time with it just to get to know the product more before I do a review video or a comparison between this and the new 13-inch MacBook Pro, which will be coming on the channel pretty soon. But I do want to make a couple notes just because of my experience so far. Number one is battery life, something the MacBook Pros have kind of missed the past few years. I think ever since the new generation MacBook Pro, I've never gotten the stated battery life. I mean, okay, let's face it, I've never gotten the stated battery life in any MacBook Pro that I've used, but it's really gotten bad on the 13 and 15-inch MacBook Pros. This thing has a killer battery. I'm getting about 15 hours of total use. I barely have to plug it in. Honestly, I could go 2 days without plugging it in. And that's because you basically have two batteries. You have one built into the display and you have one built into the keyboard. Number two is you may not need a discrete graphics card 24/7, and honestly, having a discrete graphics card, and even if you don't use it, it still draws a little bit of energy. When you disconnect the display from the keyboard, you no longer have that discrete graphics card. The graphics card is actually built into the keyboard, and it has its own cooling. It's honestly a brilliant idea. I mean, if you just want to use a tablet, you have it. If you want to use the complete package with a keyboard, you also have it, and you have the extra added power and the extra battery when you do have the GTX 1050 going. So those are really the two big things I've noticed. The performance has been pretty good. I mean, again, it's not the fastest machine in the world, but its clock speed is pretty low for a laptop. I mean, the MacBook Pros are clocked higher, but with thermal throttling, you may have a couple issues there. I mean, the Surface Book 2 is definitely not a thin device, and because of this unique hinge this thing has, it doesn't really fold very flat. So it is, I mean, it's chunky, but it's not heavy, and it feels really good. I mean, in terms of solid build quality, I mean, I still think the MacBook Pros do feel a little nicer, but the Surface Book 2s are, I mean, they are really, really nice. I mean, you definitely feel like this is a tank of a device. It can definitely take a little bit, and you still have like useful ports. I mean, that's one thing the MacBook Pro just doesn't have. You still have USB-A ports, you have an SD card slot, you do have Thunderbolt 3, and headphone jacks, and you also have your magnetic charger, which is also very nice to have because, you know, if someone yanks on the cable, you don't want your entire machine to fly off the table, which used to be a feature of the MagSafe, but with USB Type-C charging, that no longer happens. Now, you can also charge the Surface Book 2 via USB-C, so if you have a USB-C plug it into the port, and you can still charge it if you don't want to plug in your actual magnetic cable. So those are just my general overall thoughts with the Surface Book 2. I want to hear your thoughts. I mean, have you bought the brand new MacBook? I do have a 13-inch MacBook Pro on its way, so I will be doing some comparison videos, or a comparison video between that and the Surface Book 2. You can actually kind of get the Surface Book 2 on a discount right now. It's like a couple $100 off, and if you're a student, you can also get a discount from the Microsoft Store, so that may be an option, just like the Apple Store. But honestly, I've really been digging this Surface Book 2 and the keyboard. There's a lot more travel on this keyboard than any MacBook Pro that you can buy today, so that may be also a big selling point. Want to throw one con real quick. The trackpad, it's good, it's just small. The MacBook Pros have a massive trackpad. The palm rejection on the MacBook Pros are kind of hit and miss now because of that huge surface, but this thing just feels a little small and dated, and the fact that it's actually a mechanical dive board, that means there's dead spots. I mean, the top part of this thing, it can't move at all. So just some minor nuances, you know, may not really affect you if you've never used a MacBook Pro before, but if you are coming from the MacBook Pro line with like the Force touchpad, this will feel like foreign waters to you. Anyway, just wanted to keep this video, try to keep it short, and just give you a quick overall opinion about why I think the Surface Book 2 is a very good alternative to buying these brand new 13-inch MacBook Pros. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave me a thumbs up and a comment below, and I'll catch you all in the next video. See ya.